Hey everyone, Joe Waxman. Um, well, today is a special day. I'm sure most of you know. It's December 21st, 2020. It's the winter solstice, and it's also the conjunction, the great conjunction, the greatest conjunction of all, of Jupiter and Saturn at 0 degrees Aquarius, something that a lot of us have been waiting for quite a while now. Um, and it's really a significant time and significant astrological event. Not only are Jupiter and Saturn coming together, like we put our hands together in prayer or in meditation, or however you like to do it. I often sit like this in meditation. And this coming together is powerful. We know that because we automatically do this or this or this when we want to concentrate our energy. And so when Jupiter and Saturn are coming together, it's a prayerful time. When any planets come together, it's a prayerful time, especially Jupiter and Saturn. Um, they are the sort of the big dogs of our solar system. They represent the outer bounds of our solar system because Saturn is the last planet that you can see with the naked eye. It's not 100% true. You can sometimes see Uranus, but for all intents and purposes, Saturn is the limit and it represents limitations. And Jupiter is the biggest planet. It's right before Saturn. It's the king of all the planets in our solar system. Not speaking about the sun, which is not even really a planet, but out of the planets. Saturn represents responsibility. It's the potential for long-lasting success, for things to last a long time, but it's also the promise that things will decay, that things will end, things will die, and nothing lasts forever, because Saturn represents time. So it's the potential for things to last a long time, but the promise for things to die and decay. That's what Saturn represents. And Jupiter represents the potential for things to expand out of control, to become excessive, and just to grow wildly. Even, like things like cancer and tumors can be represented by cancer because it's just out of control growth. But it's the promise that things will always live and grow again. Saturn is the promise of death. Jupiter is the promise of life, essentially. And so when these two planets come together, they are the promise of death and life, of time and space, of contraction and expansion, of polar opposites, of yin and yang. They are very unique in that regard, that they mark a place in time and space, right? Jupiter being space, Saturn being time. Jupiter representing life, Saturn representing death and decay. So it's very, very unique when they come together in marriage. And not only that, what do I say marriage? They're at 0 degrees Aquarius. Sun is at 0 degrees Capricorn, along with Mercury, which is at 1 degree Capricorn. And Capricorn is the lowest point on the zodiac, or more accurately, let's put it this way, the most southern point on the zodiac. It's when the sun is further south as it can go, right? And the symbol of Capricorn represents that. It's the sea goat, which is not a real animal. It's half fish, half goat, the tail of a fish, and the upper half of a goat. And why? Because water sinks to the lowest point, right? The deepest places, the lowest places on Earth are at the bottom of the ocean. And the goat climbs to the top of the mountain. So what Capricorn represents is coming from the bottom with all of the energy and potential to rise to the top. right? It's at the bottom, but it's rising. That's the goat part. The fish part represents the bottom, the goat part represents climbing to the top. So it's the start of a new year energetically. So that's really unique. And then the other really neat thing is that Juno, the asteroid of marriage, is at 0 degrees Sagittarius. So we have a 5-planet midpoint trio combination, right? Juno, the planet, the asteroid of marriage, Saturn and Jupiter conjunct in Aquarius, and right in the middle, Sun and Mercury. Incidentally, even if Sun and Mercury weren't in the middle and we just had Juno and the Great Conjunction, their midpoint would be at the solstice point, which is 0 degrees Capricorn. And that's a special aspect right there because it's called an antitia. And that's like a secret conjunction. But with Sun and Mercury there, it's even more powerful and potent. Juno, like I said, represents marriage. So this is like an astrological wedding going on here. It's very unique, very auspicious. It definitely represents a new beginning and a new start. And it's powerful, more powerful than other, far more powerful than other great conjunctions that we've had in the past, because it's not only what's called a mutation, which means it's the start of 200 years of air signs. We have the Juno and Sun and Mercury in harmonic aspects. So there's like, there's a heavenly wedding going on today, it seems, which is really unique, you know, and so like there's this whole energy of like brand newness, brand new energy that the heavens seem to be reflecting back on us, that we are also reflecting back at the heavens with our knowledge of the age of Aquarius. You know, I've heard this many times, and many people have said this and believe that this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, like, you know, like they said in the 60s with the musical. And there's one more aspect that's really neat, I think, that really adds a lot of another dimension and a great furthering of the same theme. And that is that the asteroid Chiron, which is a weird body. Some people say it's not even an asteroid. It's just a weird planetoid body between Saturn and Uranus, just went direct, stationed direct. When a planet stations direct or retrograde, but even more powerfully direct, it's really, really potent, because that means it's standing still in relation to our own view of the sky. It did it a few days ago, but it's a slow moving body, so it's still considered station direct, moving very, very slowly. So Chiron represents the wounded healer. The lower spectrum, it represents wounds, and could be sickness or deformity or rejection, you know, like the oddball, somebody getting rejected. On the higher end, it represents a healer and a teacher. And I think because of its station direct and everything else that's going on, the higher aspect is being brought out. So it represents healing energy and healing potential, which is wonderful, because we're at the beginning point, we're at the birthing point of a new era, of a 20-year era, but even more so a 200-year era, a 2,000-year era, and a 13,000-year era cycle. So this is really, really auspicious timing right now. And you can see it reflected everywhere. Even people who are not astrologers are all talking about this conjunction. But those are the main aspects that are extremely powerful right now. There's one more thing, which is that Mars is square Pluto. And that's a potentially destructive, angry, fighting, aggressive aspect, but it could also be a very transformative and positive one, especially with all these other positive things, because it gives a lot of energy and drive. You know, we don't want to just be weak and lazy. We need some strength. We need some motivation, and that gives a lot of motivation for change. I mean, Pluto is the planet of transformation, and Mars is its lower halves. We sort it's, you know, some people would say like Pluto's the higher octave of Mars. You know, they both kind of represent this drive, this determination, and they both co-rule Scorpio, which is the sign of deep inner transformation. And the way to make that work is through spiritual practice, because that's what Scorpio wants. That's what Pluto wants ultimately, is evolutionary growth of the soul. That's what it's for. And if you don't um, abide by that, if you abide by the ego and not the soul, that's when Scorpio gets really mean and nasty, and that's when he'll, you know, put you in a crisis. I know, because I have enough Scorpio in my chart. I mean, crises are no fun. So I always try and, you know, play by Pluto Scorpio's rules, and um, stay on the side of my soul to avoid crisis and continually evolve, because that's what it wants. That's what Pluto wants. That's what Scorpio wants. So there's a driving force, which is it's nice. We don't want everything to just be, you know, roses and, you know, peaches and all that. There needs to be some motivation. So we have that. So it's a really powerful time right now in ingress into Aquarius, Aquarian energy. In January, there's going to be a lot of Aquarian energy, even more so than right now, but we're starting. So we're tipping the scales, essentially, the way I look at it, from Piscean energy into Aquarian energy. We're just, now that we've had the ingress and the great conjunction, the scales are tipped out from Pisces into Aquarius. So myself and a lot of other people feel that this is the real entrance into the age of Aquarius. So it's a great time. It's an absolutely fantastic day and fantastic transfer of energy. And the other thing is that I feel, because this is such a powerful time, that the heavens really are open to our minds, our thoughts, our prayers, our meditations, especially around this time, especially today, because I take these things very literally, as above, so below. When Jupiter and Saturn are coming together like this, we should put our hands together, you know, in prayer, in meditation, however you like to do it, whatever suits you. But, you know, this is the time where we can focus, right? Because Jupiter and Saturn are focused, along with the Sun and Mercury and Juno and Chiron and Pluto and Mars. They're all focused. So we can focus now, because now's the time to focus our intention and to bring out a new world, because this is the birth of a new world. This is a cosmic wedding happening. So it's the beginning. And we are here creating our reality collectively. And I want people to understand that we're really, that none of us are impotent. None of us are unable to influence our reality. We all have power, psychic power. We have these brains, and we have this energy. We have this thought, these thoughts, and there's so much more going on than what we're being led to believe, what we're taught about who we are and what we are. Without going too deep into it, I wanted to make another video describing my conception of the whole psychic nature of who and what we are. But we are all psychic. I mean, we really, really are. In fact, the ego is a psychic entity that we create subconsciously. It's not a very conscious psychic entity, but it is a psychic entity. And we have so much power, especially collectively. And if we're aware of this, then we can use it to our advantage. We don't have to buy into the fearful paradigm, which keeps us um, enslaved, really. It keeps us low, keeps us heavy. Now is the time. We're being empowered to take back our autonomy and to create a new world. You know, I have my son Isaiah, he's 11, and sometimes I get so upset thinking about this world and this reality. And at times I think I don't want to be here, you know, I don't want to, I don't like this world. I just want to leave. But of course I can't, because you know my son's here, and it's like even worse. Like that would be so selfish. Like I have to make this I have to make this a better world for Isaiah. This is not good enough. It's really not. This whole coronavirus thing, I mean, this is a symptom of us being diseased as a society. I mean, it's very literal. There's no separation there. This is not a healthy, we're not healthy in this world, not yet. Coronavirus should not be a thing. It really shouldn't. It's a symptom of something that's really, really wrong, that's really off. We need to be rooted in the earth, in organic nature, in organic soil, with the dirt and the leaves and the seeds. You know, my vaccine has green leaves, okay? My vaccine has seeds that sprout, okay? So that's what we need to get back to as a society. Connection to nature, because that's where health is. I know this. I know this deep in my soul, and I spend my whole life living this way, but not a lot of other people do. And a lot of people need to know this, that health and happiness and spirituality and all the good things in life come from living a natural life, right? They don't come from needles in the arm. Sorry, squirrel's talking to me. They don't come from pills. They don't come from invasive surgeries. They don't come from, you know, all this crazy stuff. Health and life and natural living just comes from nature, right? There's nothing missing. Like we have it all backwards. I love technology, but not a technology that separates me from nature, not a technology that cuts my roots off from nature. I'm rooted in the earth, in the dirt, and we need to get back to that. That's so powerful. That's the way forward. You know, Elon Musk can keep his microchips, you know, in his own brain. No thanks. You know, no thanks to the scorpion needles in my arm. No thanks. I don't do heroin. I don't do vaccines. My vaccines have green leaves. Okay. That's really the way forward for anyone who wants to have a way forward, to anyone who wants to have a future. That's it. Vaccines are not it. You know, we can live in harmony with the micro world, the microbial world, because we're not at odds. That's not a problem. That's not a threat to human life if we're living a natural life. It never has been. It's not, and it's only a problem when we cut off that root from nature. That's the reality, and we need to understand that. We need to get back to that reality, that health and a good, happy life, a natural life, comes from being rooted in nature, right? And the other thing that we need to realize on the other end of things is that we're so powerful. Our psychic nature, we can create a reality that is wonderful. We can create a reality that is a utopia for the whole world, right? But we can't do it by buying into fear. Yeah. Darkness doesn't need to be fought. The only thing that you need to do for darkness is shine brighter than you are, right? Light takes away the darkness. Light shines away the darkness. If we're all shining brightly, then darkness is irrelevant. We don't need to fight the darkness. We just need to shine brightly. And that means not buying into fear, because fear is an illusion, right? It's not real. You just need to understand that life is not about fear. Life, you don't have anything to fear. If you're rooted in nature, then we're in the Garden of Eden. It really, I mean, that's what it is. I want to tell people these things, and I want to show them. We need to change things. We need to create a better world for ourselves, because this ain't it. It's really not. And we all need to do better. And we can do better, and we are going to do better, because now's the time where we have to do better. And this is the Great Awakening. People are ready to hear these things and wake up and wake out of their slumber and realize how powerful we are, and how we can just have, if we have the right attitudes and the right perspective and the right understanding, rooted in nature, aware of our own ability to create reality as a society, and that if we're believing in the fear that they want us to believe in so that they can control us, the dark occultists who have been controlling the world for the last 13,000 years, they're not going to have control over us anymore if we don't let them, if we're aware of our own power and we're not going to buy into the fear, because that's how they manipulate us. That's how they control us. They make us live in fear, and they say, oh, here's the cure. Pop this pill, stick this needle in your arm, and you'll be cured. No, that's not the way. I can promise you that. I've been living this my whole life, and I can tell you stories, and I know so many other people in the natural, aware of the way things are in the natural world, can confirm it's real. And we don't need their drugs and their chemicals and their needles. Health is in nature. It's there. God invented health. I mean, that's why we're here. We're all alive, because health is natural. And if it wasn't natural, we wouldn't be here. Right? So let's do this, Let's create a better world. We can. It's within all our powers. I really want to stress that. Don't think you're insignificant. Don't think you can't do anything. You can, by projecting a positive attitude, and that does far, far more than you would ever imagine. You just, once you see it, you'll be amazed. Now's the time to wake up to these things, to the real reality of our nature. We have power. We have far more power than they want us to know, right? And the only thing we need to do is shine brightly. That's how we defeat the darkness. We shine brightly, the darkness becomes irrelevant. Okay, so today is a day of giving thanks, of appreciation, of prayer. It's not holiday Thanksgiving, but it is a holy day, and it is a day of giving thanks. So we can all put our hands together like the planets, however you prefer, and give thanks and make your prayers heard, because today your prayers will be heard. That I can promise you. So, all right. Thank you guys. And thank the planets and the heavens for allowing us to have this time. We made it. We're here. Our prayers will be answered. Shine your light brightly. Thank you.